everyone, welcome to day 32nd of my 50 days SQL challenge series where I solve data analyst and business analyst interview question for SQL. Today we'll be solving one of the data analyst interview question that was asked in Netflix data analyst interview. So let's see the question. Question is, for each video, how many unique users flag it? A unique user can be identified using the combinations of first name and the last name. Do not consider rows in which there is no flag ID. So let's see the data that we have. So the data that we have, which is first name, last name, video ID and the flag ID. So let's read the question one more time so that we can understand and solve it. So it says, for each video, find how many unique users have flagged it, right? So unique user can be identified using the first name and the last name. Now do not consider the rows where there is no flag ID. Now this is the data. In the data we see that like few flag ID are basically null, right? And how we can find unique user is basically combining the first and the last name, right? So let's just write down the approach to solve this questions. So first we need to basically select the video ID, right? Because we want to see each video and the total count of unique user who has flagged it, right? So first we need the video ID and then we will need to see the count, right? So count of total flag, right? Now the flag of what, like the unique users ID, like how many unique user ID has flagged the video, right? So we can go ahead and say inside this count ID. So inside this count we need to basically find unique users, right? Now again, to find this unique user we need to basically combine the first name and the last name, right? First and last name distinct functions, okay? So distinct function we can use, and this is how we will be solving this problem. Then at last we will need to do a group by the video ID, because we will need to see each video and the total count of distinct user who has flagged it. Now we need to filter the data. So filter the data where we will be saying that flag ID is not null, right? So flag filter the data for not null, right? So basically the flag ID, right? Flag ID has to be not null, right? So let's see how we can solve it. So let's start writing query to solve this question. So I'm going to use this line, and I'll be first selecting basically the video ID, which is basically this column, video ID. So I'm going to say video ID, and then I'll be basically creating a new column by combining the first name and the last name using concat function. So I'm saying concat and the first name, which is user underscore first name. I'll be doing a concatenating with the second name, which is the user last name. So it's going to be user underscore last name, okay? And this is how I did the concat. Now if I can run it, and it's going to basically show me the video ID and the users basically last name and first name combined, right? This is the one. Now I'll be selecting one more column for now. I'm just going to select, let's say, flag ID, okay, to see if they have basically flagged the video, okay? So we can see all these users and their flag ID, okay? Now I'll be using a where functions to filter the data, where I will say where flag ID is not null, okay? This I filter the data for not null. So I can run this query now. Now the data is filtered for not null only, okay? So all the users I have selected, all the video ID I have selected, and not null, which is in the flag ID, I have selected, okay? Now this is fine. Now what I need to is basically I need to count this number for each video. I need to do a group by each video to see what is the count of unique users who has basically flagged the ID, basically, who has this flag ID or who has flagged the video, okay? Now I simply need to count this user inside each video, isn't it? But I need to ensure that I'm using a distinct functions here, because I don't want to count the same users multiple times, okay? So I'm going to use here, okay, I'm going to say that now here I'm going to say count of what? Count of basically these users, okay? Now I'll be deleting this basically flag ID. So I'm saying count of users, okay? Now this is going to do a count. Now I'll need to do a group by, because I want to see each video and their basically count of users. Okay, so I'm going to say group by this user ID. So this is going to basically solve almost all problems. We just need to ensure that we're using a distinct functions before doing the count, okay? So to ensure that we are selecting the distinct user, a distinct. Now inside the distinct functions I can put this data, okay? So I can just save it as, okay, distinct, or maybe count of users who has flagged this video. Okay, after run this query, our problem is solved. I can do a sorting order by basically just to TSC. Now we can see basically for each video ID how many distinct user has basically flagged that video, and we have also done some sorting to basically see the highest number and the first, right? So this is how you can solve any kind of complex interview question using SQL. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video till the end. If you really like my video, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a good day. Take care.